Okay, if you'll write at the top of the page, multiplying by 2-digit numbers. Multiplying by 2-digit numbers. We put that at the top of your next empty page. Okay, multiplying by 2-digit numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. Okay, and then you're going to be able to choose which one you like the best. So we're going to put number 1, because we're going to put the first way to do this. And then we'll do the second way to do it. Okay, so this is the first way. All right, so we're going to do 97 times 53. 97 times 53. Okay, so this is the first way. This is the traditional way, or like the regular way to do it. Okay, so since we're multiplying by 3, we're going to start our answer underneath the 3. So we need to do 3 times 7. So what do we get when we multiply 3 times 7, Mason? 21. So we're going to put our 1 here, and our 2's coming up here. Okay, and then we need to multiply 3 times 9, but then we still need to add the 2 to it because we had to bring the 2 up. So Maddie, what do we get for that?
27, and then add 2, so then it'd be 29.
Exactly. Okay, now we're going to multiply by the 5, and so you can do one of 2 things. You can put a 0 there if you want to. I just think, oh, well, I'm multiplying by 5, so my answer needs to start under the 5, but you can put a 0 there if you want. So again, we're multiplying by 5, so our answer is going to start underneath the 5, so we've got to do 5 times 7. And so what do we get for 5 times 7, Mason?
35.
35. So our 5's here, and our 3 comes up, and then we have to do 5 times 9, and we have to add 3 to it. 5 times 9, add 3 to it. Caroline? 48. Okay, and then now all we do is add. Okay, so we add 1 and nothing, or 1 and 0, which would be 1. We add 9 and 5, which would be what? 14. So our 4 goes here, 1 comes up. 8 and 2 is 10. Add 1. 11. 1's here, 1 comes up, and we get 5. So our answer would be 5,141. Okay, so that's the regular, or like traditional way to do that. Okay, the regular traditional way. And then in a minute, we're going to look at a new way to do this. But let's go to your whiteboard for just a minute, but then we're coming right back to your composition book. Because I'm going to remind you of a shortcut that you know. That even though we're multiplying by 2-digit numbers today, a shortcut that you know we're actually not going to be multiplying by 2-digit numbers. Okay, so write this problem down. Let's say that we're doing 210 times 80. Okay, remember that we learned this shortcut the other day? If there's zeros at the end, okay, we're going to box them. We're acting like they're not even there.
Sideways or up and down?
Just like this, because we're going to switch it to up and down in a minute. Okay, so again, if you have zeros, ignore them. So what we're really doing is 21 times 8. Okay, so that's what you're doing first, is just ignoring the zeros, and you're doing 21 times 8. Okay, I'm just reminding you of this shortcut we learned the other day. Then once you get that answer, these 2 zeros need to go to the back of your answer. And then there's our answer. So even though you're technically multiplying by a 2-digit number, you don't really have to because you can use a shortcut. Okay, so what would we get for this answer if it's really just 21 times 8 and then bring your 2 zeros to the back? Mason?
16,800.
You should have gotten 168, that's correct, and then these 2 zeros have to come on, and so we get 16,800. Okay, so don't forget about that, because when you multiply it with zeros out, then that's just a ton of, because for instance, if you'd done it the other way, you would have ended up with this. Okay, you would have had a whole row of times 0, times 0, times 0. So you'd be writing all these zeros for no reason when you could just do the short way. Okay, so let's do one more of those just to remind you to save the zeros till the end. So let's say we have this, 41 times 70. Okay, so again, make sure that you either box or circle your zeros so you don't forget it. Because that's the only thing that you can do is sometimes like, oh, I forgot to add the 0. So again, it's really just 41 times 7. Get the answer and then put the 0 at the back. Mason. 2,870 is correct. Okay, let's go back to your composition book. And I'm going to show you this new way. I think you'll like it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go back to your composition book. Okay, so right underneath where we did that problem, right underneath it, we're going to do it, because we're going to do the same problem, we're just going to do it a different way. So right underneath where we put that number 1 and worked that problem, put number 2, and we're going to put the second way to do that same problem, okay? So it's going to start like this. Okay, we need a box, and we need to split it down the middle, this way and this way.
I did this at middle school.
Okay, and then you're going to go like this. Okay, we're going to slice each one of these like this.
That's weird.
Okay, now the problem, we already did it at the top of the page. It was 97 times 53. So we're going to write it like this. We're going to write 97 times 53. Okay, so the 97 and then the 53. Okay, this is what you do. It's pretty cool, and you'll see how you get the exact same answer. So we're going to do 7 times 5, and that answer is going to go right here. And how that'll be written is like this. Since we know that 7 times 5 is 35, it's going to be written like this, 35. Okay, so what do we get for 9 times 5? And we're going to put that right underneath there, and we're going to write it just like that. Alexa?
45.
So we're going to put 45. Okay, right here, we're going to put the answer to 7 times 3. That's going to go right there. So what do we get for 7 times 3? Maddie?
21.
21. So we're going to put 2 and 1. And then finally, we need to do 9 times 3, and that's going to go right here, Mason. 27. Okay, now that we have filled in all of our boxes, we're going to add diagonally. Okay, and what I mean by that is this. So like right here, all we have in that diagonal is a 1, so we're going to put it right here. Okay, then I'm going to go to the next diagonal. And this diagonal, I have 5, 2, and 7, which you could think of as 7 plus 7. So I'm going to add these digits together in this diagonal. So again, you could think of that as 7 plus 7. And so what would I get, Caroline? 14. So I'm going to put my 4 here, and my 1 comes up to my next diagonal. Okay, then I'm going to add, and you can add in any order that you want to. The fastest way to do this would probably be that 3 and 2 is 5. So I really have 2 5s and a 1. 2 5s and a 1, but again, you can add that in any order that you want. Maddie? 11. So we're going to put our 1 here, and our other 1's coming up to our last diagonal, and all we have in that diagonal is a 4 and a 1. And so what do we get when we add that, Caroline? 5. And look, we have the same answer as we got at the top. 5,141.
That's weird.
We're going to do several of them. So by the time we do a whole bunch of these, it's pretty easy, I think. Okay, so let's go to your whiteboard, and we're going to try some of these. Now, when you make your squares on your whiteboard, you want to make them big enough that because you're going to be writing with marker, and you've got to be able to fit those numbers in there. So make it big enough so you can do that. And we'll do bigger than 4 by 4, but we'll start with a 4 by 4. So first, let's do one just like the last time. So we want a 4 by 4 square. So we'll go 4 by 4, not 4 by 4, 2 by 2, which is has 4 squares in it. All right, and then again, we know it's going to look like this. Okay. And we're going to do one because I want you to see something that happens on this one. So we're going to do 19 times 12. Okay, 19 times 12. Okay, now when you have a single digit answer like this, 9 times 1 is just a 9, it goes in the bottom half. Okay, and so we know that 1 times 1 is 1, so it's going to go in the bottom half. Okay, then we have to do 9 times 2 down here in this bottom corner. So what do you get for 9 times 2, Mason?
18.
18, so we're going to put 18. And then again, we have 1 times 2, which is a single digit of 2. Okay, now we're going to add the diagonals. Okay, the bottom corner is always going to be its own thing because it's in its own diagonal, so it's an 8. Okay, then we need to add 9 and 1, which is 10, and then add a 2 to it. So what do we get for this diagonal right here?
12.
Caroline? 12. So the 2's here, the 1 comes up to the next diagonal, and all we have in that diagonal is 2 1s, which will be what, Will? 2 1s.
2.
2. All right, so there's 228. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try a little bit bigger. Let's try a bigger one. So we're going to do a 3 by 2. So that one will just look like this. So we're going to go this way. We're going to have 3 columns, but still 2 rows. Okay, so it's just 2 squares bigger than what we did. And then same, you'll want to do this. Okay, so we're going to
Now it looks like we're playing tic-tac-toe before you do the thing.
So we're going to multiply this. So the top number is going to be 3 digits, 4, 1, 3. And then we're going to multiply by 12. Okay, so what do we get? So 3 times 1, we know that's going to be just a 3. So remember, we just put it here. 1 times 1, that's just a 1, so it's going here. And 4 times 1, that's just a 4, so it's going here. So this one's actually easy because you're going to have single digits basically the whole time. 3 times 2 is 6, so it's got to go here. 1 times 2 is just a 2, so it's going to go here. And 4 times 2 is an 8, so it's going to go here. Okay, and then just add the diagonals. And let's see what we get for 413 times 12. Caroline? 4, 9, 5, 6. So see how fast you can do that once you kind of get the hang of the, what am I doing? I'm going back. You get the hang of the lattice.
That would have been the third time you've done that.
If you,
like 12 tickets from other people.
if you do it that way, it's pretty easy. Okay, so now let's do one more 3 by. And then we're going to do a 4 by 2. Okay, so let's do a 3 by 2. It's the same as last time. So we need 3 columns and then 2 rows, and we know where they're going to be split like that. And let's do 294 times 48. 294 times 48. So this is just going to be really careful. So just take it one box at a time. So first we have 4 times 4. So what do we get for 4 times 4, Maddie?
16.
16. So we're going to have a 1 and a 6. Okay, then we're going to have 9 times 4. Caroline? 36. A 3 and a 6. Okay, then we have 4 times 2, which we know is just an 8, so it's got to go there. Okay, now we have bottom corner, 8 times 4. 8 times 4. Caroline? 32, so we're going to have 3 and a 2. And then we have 9 times 8 in the middle. 9 times 8, Alexa? 72. And then finally we have an 8 times 2. 8 times 2. And this is called the lattice method, by the way. L-A-T-T-I-C-E, the lattice method. So 8 times 2, Mason? 16. Okay, now we add. And again, each time kind of think about what's going to be the easiest way to add for you. Because again, addition, you can do it in whatever order that you want. So obviously 2 is there. So do you have a 6, a 3, and a 2? So you could think of that as 6 and 5. You could think of that as 9 and 2, however you want to do it. But what would we get for 6 plus 3 plus 2? Maddie? 11. So remember, 1 goes here, and that's another thing to be careful about is carrying the 1. So 1 goes here and 1 comes up. Okay? And then an easy way to think of this next one is you have 2 6s. Okay? 2 6s. And then you have a 7 and then 2 more. So you could think of that as a 9 and 2 6s. You could, however you want to do it. But what do we get for 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 2? Alexa.
So you would get 15.
6 and 6 is how much?
12.
And then we still have 7 and 2, which is 9.
Oh, I did.
So we have 12 and 9. 12 and 10 is 22, so 12 and 9 must be 1 less than that. 21. So we're going to have a 1 here, and then our 2's coming up. And then in our last column, we have a 3 and a 2, which is 5. Actually, the easiest way to think of that one is 8 and 2, which is 10. And then we have a 3 and 1, which is 4. So 10 and 4 would probably be the fastest way to add that last one. So what would we get, Maddie?
13.
We have 10 and 4.
Oh,
8 and 2
sorry,
is 10, and 3 and 1 is 4.
14.
14. So we're going to get 14,112. Okay, let's try a 4 by 2. Okay, so a 4 by 2 is exactly that, a 4 by 2. So we're going to have 4 going this way. So you can split it down the middle and then split it again on each side. And then still just 1 going this way. And then again, we know we're going to have these. Same thing, it's just got 2 more boxes.
It's got so
And you can do
many
this, I mean, you can make this really complicated and do a problem that's like in the millions times something else in the millions, and you'd have a ton of boxes, but it still works no matter how big the number is. Question?
Oh, sorry. I thought you'd already done the one.
Oh, no. All right, so this is 1598. Okay, 1598, and we're gonna multiply by 72. 1598 by 72. Okay, so we need to multiply 7 times 8. Mason.
Oh, 7. 56.
56.
I'm done.
Okay, then we need to multiply 9 times 7. Caroline.
63.
63. Okay, and then we need to multiply 7 times 5. Alexa.
35.
35. And then lastly, we have 7 times 1, which we know is 7, but it's got to go in that bottom half. Okay, and then the next row, we have 8 times 2. 8 times 2, Maddie?
16.
16. And then we have 9 times 2. Mason?
18.
18. And then we have 5 times 2. Alexa?
10.
10. And then we have 2 times 1, which is 2, but it's got to go in that bottom half. Okay, so now we just need to add the diagonal. So we have just a 6 in the first one. Then we have 6 plus 1 plus 8. So you could do 7 plus 8, you could do 9 plus 6, whatever you want. But what would we get for 8 plus 1 plus 6, Caroline?
15.
So 15, so we have a 5, and we're going 1 up. So now we have a 5, a 3, and a 2. So what do we get for 5, 3, and 2? And again, you can add that however you want to. And really, 3 and 2 is 5, so it's really 5 plus 5. Caroline? 10. So 0, 1 comes up. Okay, and our next one, we have a 6, a 1, a 5, a 1, and a 2. So probably the easiest way to add that would be 5 and 1 is a 6. So we have 6 plus 6, and then we still have 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3. I have markers on that. So we have 6, 6, and 3, which would be what, Mason?
6.
6 and 6 is how much?
12.
plus 3.
15.
So 5
Oh,
goes
so
here,
five, sorry.
1
I
comes
was
up.
looking at the wrong number, cause I've already answered it, I was looking at the wrong number.
And 7 and 3 is 10 plus another one, Maddie, which would be what? 11.
Oh, I got so
100 will be
confused.
115,055.
Exactly. All right, so let's try, I'm gonna give you a 4 by 2 and kind of let you do it by yourself and see how you do. Yes, yes. All right, so we're gonna do a 4 by 2. Okay, so 4, and then we know these are all gonna be sliced in half.
This is really easy and it feels
Yeah, it is easy, I think. I think it's easier, but it's up to you. If you like the
I
other way
like the
better, you
other
can
way.
do it.
I like it this way. I like the other way just because it's the thickest one. Well, this doesn't take long.
Well, if you're drawing it out on like paper and you mess up.
All right, 2535 times 47. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of let you go with it. And notice this, once you multiply by 5 here, you're multiplying by again here. So these two answers are the same, and same thing here. When you multiply by 5 here, so right here, these two answers are the same, and these two answers are gonna be the same because you're multiplying by 5 twice.
Multiply by 4 or 7 first, does that matter?
You're gonna it doesn't matter. You can do this one first or this one first, it doesn't matter. It's just when you're adding is when it matters, because you've gotta start over here, because you gotta get the ones place.
When we finish putting them on, do you want us to?
Yeah, go ahead, you can go ahead and add.
Okay.
It's really just being careful, and as long as you're careful, it should be pretty easy. Julia, what'd you get?
119.
Oh, I didn't even get to.
119145.
I didn't get to finish adding. Oh.